Welcome once again to Auto Mondial, the weekly home of all the latest motoring news and reviews. This week it's time to don your party hat in celebration of the true people's car of the modern age.
We've also got the return of the Ferrari Testarossa.
Plus, Mercedes and BMW battle it out in the mid-size SUV class with a pair of new unveilings.
That's all coming up. First though, the news.
Back in September, Jaguar Land Rover suffered a sizable cybersecurity hack, leading to the immediate halt on all production. Well, with the numbers in for the second quarter of the 2026 financial year, that's July, August and September of this year, and it seems like the manufacturer has taken yet another sales hit following what has already been a tough year. Indeed, for that Q2 period, wholesale numbers dropped a staggering 24.2% for the same period last year, while retail sales dropped an equally remarkable 17.1%. With factories now back up and running, here's hoping for a return to form for the British premium car maker in 2026.
A halfway house blending hypercar rivaling performance and pricing without the excitement and exclusivity to back up that price, the Ferrari SF90 Stradale never managed to capture the imagination of petrolheads. As such, the Italian icon is now wondering if a redesign and retro-themed name change will alter its quasi-range topper's public perception. Though clearly when Ferrari's design team first heard that its next creation would sport the Testarossa name, they forgot to take a look at the moniker's lineage. The Ferrari 849 Testarossa is a far cry from what was once seen undercover fighting Floridian crime on the big screen, instead combining styling cues from various modern prancing horse models. The headlight assembly is very Duodici cylindri, the rear arches are extremely SP3 Daytona, and the roofline is almost a touch LaFerrari. An already busy look, we feel the infamous Testarossa slats would have turned this oddball into an out-and-out Frankenstein. The new model's 849 name is a very mathematical and un-Italian callback to its engine architecture, an engine it steals from its predecessor. 8 cylinders, each of 49 cubic centimetre capacity, totals a 4-litre twin-turbo V8. Much like the outgoing SF90, hybrid assistance boost the now aged lump, this time to 1,050 brake horsepower, 50 more than the SF90. Speaking of hybrid, this is once again a plug-in hybrid supercar, which is where the allure sort of drops away. Yes, it can hit 62 in under 2.3 seconds, and yes, it will top out at well over 200 miles per hour. But it can also poodle around in an electric-only mode for a dozen miles. It's just a bit too grown up for a car sporting the Testarossa name, a name best known for slinging it sideways in chase of miscreants under neon lights. Although prices are yet to be revealed, the 849 Testarossa will be Ferrari's latest release to sit around the $500,000 mark if SF90 money is anything to go by. The good news is that you continue to follow its predecessor's trend. You needn't wait long for used vehicles to plummet to a fraction of that figure.
Back in September, the Munich Motor Show was a big event for the mid-sized SUV market. Of note, 2 heavy hitters in class lifted the covers on their latest creations as Mercedes unveiled its new GLC and BMW launched the first of its Neue Klasse models, the iX3. Both German, both high-riding family cars and both electric only for now. What better way to welcome them into the world than to throw them into the ring to battle it out? In the blue corner, The BMW iX3 is a charming first take on its conceptual forefather, though its indented front end does look like a cartoon character that's taken a pre-flight whack. And in the red corner, the new Mercedes GLC is a blinged-out show-off, potentially prematurely celebrating victory with its illuminated grille and bright lights. The only question is, which should you get when they make their way to UK dealerships?
Visually from the outside, we're not huge fans of the Mercedes, nor are we particularly enthused by the cabin. A vast screen on the dashboard gives little where else to look, especially for those easily distracted by pixels. That so-called hyperscreen and all its 39 inches is now standard across the GLC board and will be the first to run Merck's 4th generation infotainment system. If that wasn't enough, real estate inside is evidently so pricey that there was no room left for physical buttons, almost every functionality getting, at best, haptic feedback controls. Looking elsewhere, and it's as you'd expect of a Mercedes, with nice materials, shiny chrome and plush chairs, making for a comfortable space. Under the shell, it seems Mercedes has learnt a lot from the AMG concept we looked at a few weeks ago. The first model to put footsteps on UK soil will be the GLC 400 4MATIC range topper with its 94 kilowatt-hour battery, boasting top-of-the-range heat pump tech, allowing it to charge almost 200 miles worth of juice in just 10 minutes. Overall range sits at around 445. Power sits at 483 brake horsepower, plenty for the daily commute, and also plenty to tow up to 2.5 tonnes, a rarity in the EV space.
On paper, the Mercedes does look to be a good offering, though if you'd like your cabin with a little less sun glare, BMW's iX3 features a far more minimalist space. Steering wheel, central screen, far-mounted instrument cluster and air vents are about all the design details of note available in Bavaria's latest. A far more digestible space overall, we are perplexed by the 4-spoke steering wheel that's about as round as the All Blacks ball of choice. Compared to its Mercedes rival, the BMW does lack some 70mm to the wheelbase, in turn translating to marginally less legroom. But as we say, the difference is marginal. What is less marginal is boot space, the Mercedes offering some 50 litres more than the BMW. Much like its rival, the iX3 will initially launch with just one variant, as others join the fray later. The 50 xDrive gets 2 motors for 469 brake horsepower to all 4 wheels and a 2-ton towing capacity. Less powerful than the Merc, it might be, but that also means it's more endurant, managing some 500 miles on a charge thanks to a 108 kilowatt-hour battery. Its 800-volt architecture also allows it to beat Stuttgart's 10-minute charging rate, gaining a further 30 miles of juice on fast chargers. Currently, both manufacturers are planning to commence customer deliveries next year, though only the BMW is available to pre-order now, with prices starting from just under £59,000. Mercedes is yet to announce pricing, but we would expect it to surpass that figure as it ships alongside its combustion counterpart, which already costs £60,000.
After the break, Cadillac gives its mid-range EV a sporty twist.
Welcome back. Coming up, something old and something new as we celebrate 50 years of the Polo.
Having launched 3 models in 2025 alone, Cadillac is using the electric revolution as its foot in the door of the old continent market. Following several failed attempts in decades gone by, the Lyriq, Vistiq and Optiq is the American manufacturer's latest 3-pronged assault on UK roads. But what is a challenge on established names without a halo product? This is the Cadillac Optiq-V, a cutthroat edition of the mid-size electric SUV with a hint of spice. This sporty version is all about attracting your lust and directing it to more affordable entry-level models. But what does this supposedly range-topping model offer over this standard Optiq? In all honesty, very little more than you could get elsewhere. The main distinguishing factor between the V-Series and regular car is a collection of aggressive accoutrements, including a bolder splitter, more pronounced headlights and complex wheels. The illusion of a diffuser sits aback the V for a rough rear end. Under the shell, the Optiq-V is not so much sporty as it is posh, as almost all of the SUV's optional extras on lower specification models come as standard here. Under the floor sits the same 85 kWh battery that powers the regular Optiq, though this time paired to more powerful motors, upping total power output to 519 brake horsepower from 440. In turn, range drops to just 275 miles from the regular car's estimated 300. The cost for your less efficient, marginally more powerful family EV? About $15,000 more than the regular car, at just under $69,000. With all that in mind, we're not even all that upset that the V-Series won't be making its way to the UK.
First, kicking off with the superbly sleek 508, Peugeot's design language has ramped up significantly over the last half-decade or so. Since then, everything from little hatchbacks to lumbering SUVs have been given a taste of the Lion's new styling approach. The most recently refreshed car on that list is the Peugeot 308, the manufacturer's mid-size hatchback, a popular option in class. Whilst already bearing the brand's sharp looks, this latest facelift pushes the envelope further towards the cutting edge. The C-segment model now gets illuminated elements within the even more aggressive front grille assembly, whilst the previous front strakes are now better integrated within the entire fascia. The rear is far more reminiscent of the outgoing model, as is also the case for the cabin. Few infotainment graphics have been tarted up, but if you spend time aboard the old car, you should feel right at home here. As you might be able to tell from the manufacturer's AIMS EV grant eligibility, the Peugeot 308 is available as an electric vehicle, plug-in hybrid and regular combustion. The EV gets 156 brake horsepower and 280 miles of range, which, unless you spend your time pootling within city limits, feels a little low to us. Plug-in hybrid is the option you want should you be able to afford its slightly higher price tag. 195 brake horsepower, a smooth automatic gearbox and 50 miles of EV-only driving are all benefits of this halfway house tech. But if you're on a tighter budget, more traditional mild hybrids are available in either petrol or diesel form. The former boasts 145 brake, whilst the latter gets 130 from a Blue HDI engine, a platform renowned for poor reliability and so perhaps best avoided.
Whilst many cars on the road today are slowly blending into a single homogeneous design, the Peugeot 308 is not the only remaining compact hatchback with a sense of identity. Another recognisable 5-door that we often see turning heads is the Mazda 3. Taking the Japanese manufacturer's stunning Kodo design philosophy but fitting it to a smaller body, this is arguably one of the better-looking cars on UK roads today. With the face of an angry carp, it slips through traffic whilst its punch-back roofline does little to slow its pace. Inside, it retains that elegant appeal with a pleasant layout and nice upholstery throughout the cabin. Mazda's own infotainment system, running this 10-inch central display, is far from our favourite, and standard tech isn't what you would call plentiful from the get-go. But the second cheapest trim level will inject most basic features as standard, like heated seats and dual-zone climate control. Earlier this year, the Mazda 3 followed its SUV sibling, the CX-30, through the facelift factory, both receiving a new entry-level powertrain, the e-Sky Active G. Now up in capacity to 2.5 litres and boosting power to 140 brake horsepower, the new power plant might appear to be more potent on the dyno sheet, but it's really all about efficiency. A more powerful e-Sky Active X gets 186 bhp from a 2-litre 4-pot, though relatively unchanged from the model's initial launch in 2019, it doesn't get the same fancy fuel-saving gizmos. Available from £25,000, the Mazda 3 is a good budget alternative to the Peugeot 308, which, whilst pricing for its updated form is yet to be announced, should match the current car's £33,000 starting price. PHEV tech will cost you a further £4,500.
Last week, Volkswagen unveiled a new direction in its electrified strategy. Instead of attributing vague numbers to vehicles of different shapes and sizes and binning its long-lived model names, the historic German manufacturer will highlight its heritage. This is not the ID Polo, however. This is the original of its name that this year is celebrating its 50th birthday. A boxy little 3-door, fitting the dimensions of a modern-day shopping trolley, this Mark I Polo GLS is the perfect embodiment of a classic car. Not only is it small and cutesy, it also fixes every issue we have with the modern motor industry. Inside, you can forget stylistic minimalism. This is just a bare-bones cabin with nothing more than you need. Look at the lack of screen and the slider-filled center console. Oh, and it also has a physical key with its own keyhole on the steering column. Typical features from just a few years ago that have fallen to the way of over-engineering. Getting behind the wheel of this 50-year-old time capsule requires far more involvement than the modern automobile. 3 pedals and a 4-speed gear stick are the least of your worries here. Starting it even requires you grasp the concept of choke. Once you're up and away though, this vintage citygoer is a pleasant runabout, full of peppy character and get up and go. Little power and lack of driver aids mean driving is more scrapping tango than elegant waltz. And yet, as a nippy little traffic weaver that attracts more looks than your run-of-the-mill supercar, we are advocates of giving classics more wheel time than a Sunday poodle.
But if you prefer push-button start over turnkey crank, the Polo is yet to cease its charge on the UK high street. Taking the Econobox formula, souping it up and adapting it to modern proportions, Volkswagen will say that this is the Polo at its best. Say hello to the Mark VI Polo GTI. A soft and cocoon city car for the day-to-day meandering about behind the GTI. Badged wheel is a far simpler affair than with its 50-year ancestor, as it should be. But with software-induced bipolarity, a touch of the mode button switches from normal to sport mode, firming up the chassis, improving throttle response, sharpening gear changes and boosting engine volume. At its core, a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder buzzes its way to 207 brake horsepower, enough to hit 62 from rest in 6.2 seconds and go on to 150 miles per hour. Certainly nothing eye-widening on the specification sheet, the GTI reflects that tepid character on the road. Just as you would expect in a world where every SUV and its cousin boast 200 brake plus, the Hot Polo struggles to provide the wow factor of larger siblings like the Golf GTI. A stiffer suspension setup and heavier steering in sport mode do help sell the idea of a beefed-up Econobox, but lower your window through a bypass to reveal an almost entirely speaker-based engine note inside the car, ruining the illusion. Visually, the Polo GTI matches its specification sheet. It has hints of athleticism, but brought together in a far more subtle package than some of its rivals. With nothing more than a rear wing extension, red accents, and some trick alloys in the way of additions to your auntie's diesel Polo, this hot model does struggle to turn heads. So a subtle, laid-back city go with a little extra oomph, the 2025 Volkswagen Polo GTI is a good car. But with a dull soundtrack and unimpressive performance figures, a great driver's car it is not. A little less than £33,000 will get your hands on the Polo GTI in the specification we had. But if you're in search of a little more attention and driver involvement, MK1 Polos are a rare sight on UK roads that will set you back anywhere between £5,000 and £12,000, depending on condition.
Next time on Auto Mondial, it's time for some fun in the mud with a Toyota Land Cruiser like you've never seen before.